Hello all, this is the first video of this channel, and in this video I will tell you why I created this Python library named as AutoCore. So to tell you a bit about myself, because then you will be able to understand the motivation I had in the first place. I am not very good with my memory. I tend to forget things because who knows why. But the thing is, if I learn something, and even if I have done something using that knowledge that I had acquired, if you ask me again after 3 or 4 months, I might have forgotten around 50 to 60% of the details of how I was using that 3 or 4 months back. So when I started learning automation in Python, Python was somewhat more easier than other programming languages. But still, I had to learn the different methods of that is being used in different libraries of Python. So for example, if I have to use something using Selenium, I have to learn that particular way of how things are done using the Selenium methods. And then again, if I am switching back to UI automation, I have to learn and also remember the different function names and how things are organized using the PyAutoGUI way. So things were working fine. I was able to create automations at that phase of my life. But the challenge was the amount of information that I had to retain in my mind was quite large. So somewhere down the road, I think, why we are doing automation? Somewhat to make life easier, right? So why not make this scripting also easier and create a way by which we won't have to remember a lot of stuff in future. So the idea came there that let's create a single function. So for example, if we create a function named as click. So if we only write click, that click could be used in Selenium as well as in PyAutoGUI. And how are we gonna differentiate between the different usages? Just based upon the arguments that we pass. So for example, if we are just passing coordinates, it would automatically know that coordinates are possible in UI automation itself. So that will automatically use PyAutoGUI in the background. But at the same time, if we are passing some XPath to that function, that click function, that would automatically know that yes, we have to deal with this Selenium in this case. So this way, for different usages and even for different libraries, we will try to have a kind of a unification of function names that will kind of reduce the memory load that we have in our minds when we are scripting. Also, one thing I observed was that when you are creating an automation script, which has to be maintained by other developers also. Now, the other developers may not be that much proficient in Python. They may be from a .NET background or some other background. And just if you ask them that, hey, you have to look at this Python code, if you have to change something, just edit this part. That becomes a tedious task for them. Just at looking the function calls or somewhat complex thing, which they assume it is complex, they tend to avoid it from their end. So this kind of a unification also solves another problem, is that even for a person who is not very much proficient in Python, he would be able to skim over the automation script and would be able to understand what is happening at the different parts of this script. So this way, it becomes easier to create, and at the same time, it becomes easier to maintain in future if some changes are required to be done. So that's it in this video. In the coming videos, what I will do is I will use this library itself and show you how I use this particular library in creation of automation scripts. So that's it. Take care. Bye-bye.